I'm going to start this video with, I guess it would be a trigger warning. I am going to get upset. So if you don't like or can't handle people crying, don't watch. Saturday, February 21st, 1998. 5 p.m. on the dot. I made sure it was right on time. I met Viola Gabriel née Ross for the very first time. We had talked on the phone a few times prior. This was the first face-to-face meeting. And she invited me over for dinner. It'd be just me and her. And she made shepherd's pie. Commented that I've never had it before, creamed corn, and that's the way she made it, which was interesting, but I ended up liking it. And we watched the live-action George of the Jungle movie with Brendan Fraser. And that was our very first date 25 years ago today. And many of you know, she's no longer on this earth. It'll be 3 months next week. I miss her every day. I miss our nightly ritual. Excuse me. Most times she would go to bed first, or we'd go to bed together on the weekends. And she would lay on her side. I would spoon her, rub her back, scratch her back, rub her shoulders, leaned over her and kissed her 3 times, say goodnight, told her I loved her. And I turned around, and for the first half hour or more, be lying back to back, touching each other. I miss that. I mean, granted, we hadn't actually done that since mid-May of last year because of my knee surgery. She was so afraid that she would move in her sleep, hit my leg, and I would be in excruciating pain. So she insisted that she sleep on the couch. From mid-May, we tried a couple times during, after my knee felt a little better, but she really didn't feel comfortable with my knee. And then for a while, because of the heat, because I'm a furnace according to her. But for one reason or another, we had not slept together for the last 6 months that we were together. But we were always there. We always said goodnight. We always said I loved you, and always kissed 3 times. That was our thing, 3 times. It's so hard to believe it was 25 years ago that I first met this woman. And her friends at the time They thought I was the flash in the pan, that I was just using her, that I'd be gone the first chance I got. Well, I proved that wrong, didn't I? I mean, if it wasn't for her, I definitely wouldn't have traveled as much as I would have. I mean, I was so happy. The very first trip we took was a road trip. It was nothing, really. Basically, we rented a car, and from Toronto, we drove to Kingston, Ontario, spent the night there. Next day, we took the ferry over, which I don't know why we decided the ferry as opposed to going across the bridge, but we did. And that was an experience. And drove to Rochester, New York. Watched a AAA baseball game between Rochester and Syracuse, which was the Toronto Blue Jay farm team at the time. And then the next day we drove from Rochester down up to Niagara Falls. So basically we did a circumnavigation of Lake Ontario. And we spent 2 nights there in a hotel that was less than perfect. We got 1 night free, but it was horrible. And then from Niagara Falls home. That was our first ever trip. And since then, we went to Montreal a few times to visit her family. And then I wanted to make sure she got her dream trip. So in 2011, we went on an Alaskan cruise. And yeah, the smile she had when she went on that trip, that meant a lot to me. That she got to do that. And we went on 2 other Caribbean cruises, and then through work she had to go to the Philippines, which neither one of us expected to ever travel to Asia, but she did for work, and then I came and visited her for the last 2 weeks, and that was a tremendous experience. I'm glad we were able to do it. And then Atlantic City a few times, Vegas a few times, the big road trip to Atlanta, her believing in me to try and fulfill a dream, to fulfill excuse me, something I believed in. And even though it ended up costing a lot of money, she still believed in me, still wanted me to succeed. I mean, no, what can I say? 25 years. I'm gonna go and find somewhere tomorrow to have some shepherd's pie, and I'll see if I can find George of the Jungle on Netflix or Prime or whatever. And I'll be thinking of you like I have been for the past few months. I love you, Vi.